שמעת הליה, הללויה, 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 הללויה,
We turn to page 178 and rise for our Baruch Hu.
Baruch Hu et Adonai HaMevorach. Baruch Adonai HaMevorach le'olam avad.
You can be seated. We read together in the English, "Praise to you, Adonai, our God, whose power fills the cosmos, who opens for us the gates of compassion and lights up the eyes of those who await forgiveness. Shaper of light, source of the darkness, maker of peace, creator of all. Infinite light is preserved in life's treasure house. Light from the darkness, said God, and it was so." Page 180. "In love, you bring light to the earth and its creatures. Your goodness renews creation each day. Infinite, varied, and rich are your works, divine artist, all of them wrought with wisdom. The whole earth is teeming with life. Awestruck by the universe, work of your hands, let all life bless you and praise you and celebrate the beauty of your lights. May you shine a new light on Zion, and may we soon be privileged to share in that light. Baruch atah Adonai, Yotzer HaMeorot, our praise to you, Adonai, creator of cosmic lights." Page 183. You love us by helping us grow. You give us Torah, a ladder for the soul, words that draw us upward. Every mitzvah an invitation to climb, forge and kiln and crucible to purify our hearts. You give us Torah. You love us by helping us to grow.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Leolam Avad.
Page 188.
Ve'ahavait Adonai Elohecha b'chol levavecha v'chol nafshecha u'v'chol meodecha v'hayu הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך ושיננתם לבניך ודיברת בם בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשוכבך ובקומך וקשרתם לאות על ידיך והיו לטוטפות בעיניך וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם אני אדוני אלוהיכם אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים להיות לכם לאלוהים, אני אדוני אלוהיכם.
Page 192. True and steadfast is this teaching, beloved and treasured, a source of wonder, a fount of goodness, a thing of beauty, and ours for all time. And true it is, the eternal God is our sovereign, the rock of Jacob our protecting shield. Through all generation, God's name lives on. God's throne stands firm, God's dominion prevails. God's grandeur and faithfulness endure through eternity. God's words are precious. They will live forever. Page 195, we continue responsively by paragraph. And they shall know that I, Adonai, am their God, who brought them out of the land of Egypt, that I might abide among them. I, Adonai, their God. You took us out of the darkness so that your light may dwell among us. You showed us your power to bring down the powerful, uplift the enslaved, transform the social order. You showed us your strength so that we might remember our own. We carry the Exodus vision wherever we go, lest we forget our sense of liberation, lest we lose the joy of breathing free, lest we grow indifferent and blind to others' pain. So long as we work to make you present, we walk the path of freedom. But if we forget to bring you into this world, then we return to darkness.
שירה חדשה שבחוגי עולים, לשמך על שפת הים, יחד כולם הודו והמליכו ואמרו, אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד, לעולם ועד.
On page 198, I would like to invite Bob and Gail Levine-Fried to read.
In the depths of night, by the edge of the river, Jacob was left alone. In heartfelt longing, in the temple of God, Hannah uttered her prayer alone. In the barren wilderness, in doubt and despair, Elijah found God alone. On the holiest day, in the Holy of Holies, the high priest entered alone.
We are bound to one another in myriad ways, but each soul needs time to itself. In solitude, we meet the solitary one. Silence makes space for the still, small voice. For the psalmist says, deep calls unto deep. From the depths of our soul, we seek what is most profound.
If you're able, I invite you to rise for the tefillah.
Adonai, Sefatai Tiftach, Ufi Agi Tehilatecha. Adonai, Sefatai Tiftach, Ufi Agi Tehilatecha. Oh God, open up my lips as I begin to pray. Oh God, open up my lips as I begin to pray. Adonai, Adonai, Sefatai Tiftach, Ufi Agi Tehilatecha. Adonai, Sefatai Tiftach, Ufi Agi Tehilatecha. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu ve'Elohei avotenu ve'imotenu, Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak, ve'Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, ve'Leah. Ha'el Hagadol, Hagibor ve'Hanora, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, ve'Konei Hakol, ve'Zocher Chasdei Avot ve'Imahot, u'mevii Geula livnei v'neihem, למען שמו באהבה. זוכרנו לחיים, מלך חפץ בחיים, וכותבנו בספר החיים, למענך אלוהים חיים. מלך עוזר מושיע ומגן, ברוך אתה אדוני. מגן אברהם בעזרת שרה. אמן. אתה גיבור לעולם אדוני, בחיי הכל אתה רב להושיע מוריד הטול, מכלכל חיים בחסד, בחיי הכל ברחמים רבים, סומך נופלים רופא חולים, ומתיר אסורים, ומקיים אמונתו לשני עפר. מי כמוך בעל גבורות ברחמים, ונאמן אתה להחיות הכל. ברוך אתה אדוני מחיי הכל.
You may be seated. Page 208.
O נתנה תוקף קדושת היום, כי הוא נורא ואיום, ובוא תנשא מלכותך, וייכון בחסד כסאך, ותשב עליו באמת, ותשב עליו באמת. אמת כי אתה הוא דיין ומוכיח ויודע ועיד, וחותם וסופר ומונה, ותזכור את כל הנשכחות, ותפתח ספר הזיכרונות, מאליו יקרא וחותם יד כל אדם בו, ובשופר גדול ייתקע, וכל דממה דקה יישמע, המלאכים יחפזון, וכאילו רעדה יחזון. המלאכים יחפזון, וכאילו רעדה יחזון. ובשופר גדול ייתקע, וכל דממה דקה יישמע, המלאכים יחפזון, וכאילו רעדה יחזון. המלאכים יחפזון, וכאילו רעדה יחזון. ויאמרו הנה יום הדין, לפקוד על צפון מרום בדין, כי לא יזכו בעיניך בדין, וכל באי עולם יעברו לפניך כבני מרון, כבקרת רועי עדרו, מהביא צאנו תחת שבטו. וכל באי עולם יעברו לפניך כבני מרון, כבקרת רועי עדרו, מהביא צאנו תחת שבטו. כן תהווה ותספור ותמנה ותפקוד נפש כל חי, ותחטוף קצבה לכל בריאה, ותכתוב את גזר דינם. ובשופר גדול ייתקע, וכל דממה דקה יישמע, המלאכים יחפזון, וכאילו רעדה יחזון. Rosh Hashanah Yikativun Over Yom Kippur Over Yom Kippur Yechatimun Kama Yavrun Vekama Yibareun Mi Yihye Mi Yamut Mi Vikitso Mi Lo Vikitso Berosh Hashanah Yikativun Over Yom Kippur Over Yom Kippur Yechatimun Mi va'esh u'mi va'mayim Mi va'cherev u'mi va'chaya Mi va'ra'av u'mi va'tzama Mi va'ra'ash u'mi va'magefa Berosh Hashanah Yikativun Over Yom Kippur Over Yom Kippur Yechatimun Mi va'chanika u'mi va'skila Mi va'nuach u'mi yanuach Mi yashkit u'mi yitoraf Mi yishalev u'mi yityaser Berosh Hashanah Yikativun Over Yom Kippur Over Yom Kippur Yechatimun Mi ya'ani u'mi ya'ashir Mi yushpal u'mi yaron Berosh Hashanah Yikativun Over Yom Kippur Over Yom Kippur Yechatimun O teshuvah O tefillah O tzedakah ma'avirin et ra hagazirah
On page 215, on the bottom half of the page, let's all read together. When we walk through a valley of darkness, but find courage to live in the shadow of pain, we transcend the harshness of the decree. When we speak about fear with honesty and share what is hardest to say, we transcend the harshness of the decree. When day becomes night, but we let ourselves hope, we transcend the harshness of the decree. When we feel far from caring and friendship, but let go of pride to ask for help, we transcend the harshness of the decree. When in grief we are crushed by the absence of love, but open ourselves to your presence, We transcend the harshness of the decree. Page 218.
נקדש את שמך בעולם, כשם שמקדישים אותו בשמי מרום, ככתוב על יד נביאיך, וקרא זה אל זה ואמר, קדוש, קדוש, קדוש אדוני צבאות, מלוא כל הארץ כבודו. אדיר, אדירנו, אדוני, אדוני, אדוננו, מה אדיר שמך בכל הארץ. ברוך כבוד אדוני ממקומו. אחד הוא אלוהינו, הוא אבינו, הוא מלכנו, הוא מושיענו, והוא ישמיענו ברחמיו לעיני כל חי. ימלוך אדוני לעולם, אלוהי ציון, לדור ודור. הללויה. וכן תן פחדך, אדוני אלוהינו, הכל מעשיך, ואימתך, ואימתך, הכל מה שבראת, ואימתך, ואימתך, הכל מה שבראת, ויראוך כל המעשים, וישתחוו לפניך כל הברואים, ויעשו כולם אגודת אחת, לעשות רצונך בלבב שלם, כמו שידענו אדוני אלוהינו, שהשלטון לפניך, עוז בידך וגבורה בימינך, עוד בידך וגבורה בימינך, ושמך הנורא על כל מה שבראת, ושמך הנורא על כל מה שבראת.
Page 230, I'd like to invite Doreen Arano to unmute and read.
You chose us with love to be messengers of mitzvot, and through us you made known your aspirations. Among all the many peoples, you gave us a pathway to holiness. Among all the great nations, you uplifted us and made yourself our sovereign. And so we seek you and serve you and celebrate our nearness to your presence. Your great and sacred name has become our calling. In your love, eternal our God, you have given us this Yom Kippur, a day in which our wrongs are forgiven with love, a day of sacred assembly, a day to be mindful of our people's going out from Egypt.
Page 232, I would like to invite Monica Beyer to read.
Our God and God of the generations before us, may a memory of us ascend and come before you. May it be heard and seen by you, winning your favor and reaching your awareness, together with the memory of our ancestors, memory of your sacred city, Jerusalem, and the memory of your people, the family of Israel. May we be remembered for safety, well-being, and favor, for love and compassion, for life and for peace on this day of atonement.
Zochrenu Adonai Eloheinu bo letova. Amen. Ufokdenu vo livracha. Amen. V'hoshienu vo lechaim. Amen. Eternal our God, remember us, be mindful of us, and redeem us for a life of goodness and blessing. On page 234, I'd like to invite Lori Silverman to unmute and read.
Our God and God of our forebears, pardon our failings on this day of atonement. Erase our misdeeds, see beyond our defiance. For Isaiah said in your name, it is I alone, who wipe away your defiant acts. This is my essence. I shall pay no heed to your errors. And the prophet said, as a cloud fades away, as a mist dissolves into air, so your wrongs and mistakes shall be gone. I will wipe them away, come back to me, that I may redeem you. As you said to Moses, for on this day atonement shall be made for you, to purify you from all your wrongs, and pure you shall be in the presence of Adonai.
Page 237, Alan Zaro, would you please continue?
Help us to serve you truly with purity of heart, for you are the forgiver of Israel. In every generation granting pardon to the tribes of Yeshurun, we have no God of forgiveness and pardon but you alone. You are blessed, Adonai, sovereign, who forgives our failings and pardons the failings of your people Israel, the house of Israel. You banish our guilt from year to year. You reign in majesty over all the earth. You sanctify the people Israel and the day of atonement.
On page 240, we come to our Hoda'ah, our prayer of thanksgiving. There is certainly so much to be grateful for in our worlds, and well, everybody is in their own spaces right now. One thing I'm grateful for is that we are still joined as a community that has never existed in exactly this iteration before and will never exist exactly like this again. And so I want to invite folks who are feeling anything that you want to share, anything that you are feeling grateful for, to type it into our chat. We have a little bit too many people for everyone to unmute, but if we share those words in gratitude in our chat, I'll be able to repeat some of them out loud and we can all see what we're feeling grateful for this morning. So I invite you, please go ahead, type things in the chat. And while people are typing, I'll invite folks, are we feeling grateful for anything this morning?
I am feeling grateful for the wonderful colleagues that are here on the Bima with me, and for our wonderful accompanist, and of course, my husband, Michael T. Rose, who's our producer today. So I'm so grateful for all of you.
Grateful for our team.
And I'll say ditto to that. I was just thinking, it's wonderful to be here and to know that everybody's there somewhere listening and loving each other. But I just looked around the sanctuary and just heard sounds of what it's like when next year we'll all be together, and I'll be grateful for that. I can actually sort of see and sense that people are here making sounds and smiles. So
Beautiful.
Anxious to be back next year.
Let's see some other things that have come up in the chat. Grateful for the reading. Doreen, we're certainly grateful for you, for your participation, for all of those who are participating in our services and joining, for being able to be at these beautiful and meaningful services. Amen. Diane, grateful that Les is feeling stronger. Karen, grateful that your nephew, baby James Scarpula, is home from Columbia Presbyterian Hospital. Beautiful. This beautiful service and the music, and our tech maven, to the AV team for making this happen, for being together during these services. I'm sensing a common theme for health. For family to have come through this past year healthy and safe, for health, sunshine. Pray for more sunshine throughout the day and breezes. Grateful for this community, that Linda, that your Jackson will be here today to do Zoom and break fast. Grateful for all of us being together, grateful for being beshert, grateful for kids going to school in person, grateful for getting closer with cousins and family, life and family, so much about life and family. Please continue having your gratitude roll in. You can even keep thinking about these our entire service and keep sharing what you're grateful for. And I invite folks to continue looking at the chat, because with one another's gratitude, it just lifts us up and strengthens us as a community together. And so on page 242, we say, Baruch atah Adonai hatov shimcha ulecha na'eh lehodot. Blessed are you, Adonai, whose goodness deserves thanks and praise. Page 244. Eloheinu ve'Elohei avotenu v'imotenu. Our God, divine presence, whose path our ancestors walked, bless us now with words first bestowed on Israel in the time of Moses and Aaron, the threefold blessing given us through Torah that joins our hopes with theirs.
Adonai
May God bless and keep you.
Ya'er Adonai panav elecha v'chuneka.
May you receive the light of God's kindness and grace.
Yisa Adonai panav elecha v'yasem lecha.
May God bestow favor upon you and give you peace. Ken yihi ratzon, may it be so. My friends, we continue now with our own reflections and meditations of our deepest hearts and souls. We take a few moments for silent prayer. והגיון ליבי לפניך, אדוני, צורי וגואלי. May the words of my mouth and the My friends, I want to pull back the curtain on my own preparations for the days of awe this season. In some ways, last year was easier. Everything was new and different. Yes, there were shifts, and we poured our energy, sweat, and tears into making meaning of a bad situation in new ways. All of the planning and innovation was almost exciting because it was for a one-time thing. Faced with a second round of pandemic high holidays, things have felt bleaker. How are we doing this again? We're sick of talking about or hearing about COVID. God help us all. How does a rabbi come up with anything inspiring and new when we are all burnt out? A recent CNN report noted that the most common feeling amongst Americans today is anger. Anger. We feel the brokenness in our world and in our lives, and we're just plain mad. And that's okay. While anger can be a source of destruction, doctors and scientists also note that anger can be a key catalyst for growth. Many sources come to the same conclusion. Well-managed anger can be a useful emotion that motivates us to make positive changes. So how do we take the myriad of emotions that we're feeling? The anger, the pain, the hurt, the brokenness. How do we take those and channel them into something positive? Jewish tradition actually provides a foundational story that can guide us. Many of us are familiar with the story of Moses and the tablets. After escaping from Egyptian bondage and wandering in the wilderness, Moses ascends Mount Sinai to receive the 10 Commandments from God. Moses is away on the mountain for 40 days, and when he returns, he finds that the people are worshiping the golden calf. In anger, Moses smashes the tablets in a fit of fury, and he has to return up the mountain again to acquire a second set. Now, there's a tradition that this second journey up Mount Sinai actually began on Rosh Chodesh Elul, the first day of the month leading up to the High Holy Day season. And 40 days later, the day that Moses returned to the people once again was none other than Yom Kippur. A modern midrash that explores this journey from Moses's firsthand perspective. Again, I have to ascend again. This was my first thought as I looked at the shattered tablets at my feet. Again, I have to do it all again. I climbed for hours and hours. At some point, I realized that the clouds that surrounded the mountain since our people had arrived had transformed. Gone were the delicate mists of dew which protected the people from the power of the sublime. Now, the mountain was surrounded by clouds that shook with thunder and flashed with lightning. No delicate droplets remained. Now the world was filled with a clinging fog that seemed to reek of the anger that God felt for the people's failure. Each step of the journey to the summit felt infinitely more difficult than it had the first time I made this climb. I wish that you had told me it would be this hard. I wish that I had known I would have to climb this mountain again before I left the summit in the first place. How was I to know that in absence, the people would have given in to their fear? Why should I be punished for their failures and forced to climb this mountain again, even though it shakes with your anger? The next morning, I began my climb. The clouds that shrouded the mountain were so dark and so heavy, they were almost opaque. Surely my first trip to God hadn't taken this long. Was I lost? Did I even know which way I was headed? Was I going so slowly that God wouldn't be waiting for me when I finally arrived? The clouds began to swirl around me, and the only light I could see came from the forking tongues of lightning that cracked incessantly across the sky. I had failed. I could go no further. God had abandoned me in the storm. I would remain lost forever. I wept and I thought about the anger that I had shown towards my brother and towards our people. I wept as I imagined a version of the story where I hadn't thrown the tablets down in a fury and instead had approached them with concern and curiosity. I wept and I wept and I wept until a painful laugh escaped my throat. I turned and looked straight up into the swirling clouds. I let the rain flood my face as I whispered to myself, if I had thrown away my anger instead of the tablets, I wouldn't be on this mountain again. I saw a bit of the path that I remembered from my first trip up Sinai, and I immediately felt tears begin to streak down my face. Again, I had been only steps from the summit. I have returned, Holy One, I whispered. I must ask you to renew your covenant with your people and once again inscribe your commandments. Moses, the voice replied, my tablets have been shattered. Who is to blame for this blasphemy? The people, I began, but then I paused. Had the air darkened again? Was the storm returning? I hurried to continue. Holy One, I am responsible for the tablet's destruction. I've been climbing for days and days, and I'll admit, at first I blamed our people, but then I found myself in the midst of the storm, terrified. You abandoned me, and I worried I would be lost forever. It was as if the mountain was fighting me at every turn, and in my terror, I would have prayed to anything that promised me safety. It was then that I understood. The people were scared, and so they acted badly. But so did I. I'm the reason the tablets were destroyed. I'm the one to blame. I ask you to forgive me, and I pray that the effort I have expended to return to you, to return to the top of this mountain, is enough proof that I remain devoted to your teaching. Moses, said the Holy One, the mountain did not shake with my anger, but with yours. The path was difficult because you were struggling in your heart. I remain. I am that I am. I am eternal. You are changeable. The storm was not a reflection of me, but of you. The chaos inside of you, the anger, the hate, that is what made your path to me so difficult. The moment that you found empathy, compassion, forgiveness, the moment you took ownership of your failings, that was when you saw that you were but steps away from holiness. Let this be a lesson to you and to all who come after you. Hate and anger make the path to God all but impossible. Empathy, compassion, forgiveness, and the willingness to own your own failings. These are reflections of all that is holy. I bowed my head in recognition of this wisdom and promised, I will not fail you again, Holy One. The voice replied, of course you will. You're holy, but not divine. When you fail, remember that empathy, compassion, and forgiveness can be shown to yourself as well. I'll be waiting no matter how long you climb. Trust in my faithfulness, even if you struggle with your own. And so I carried the new tablets down a path so smooth I could have been walking on silk. I hurried down the last bit of the mountain, eager to see my people, to tell them of my journey, to show them the holiness that lived inside of me, to promise that we would start the next chapter of our story together on equal footing, and to embrace them with the empathy that I had been shown by God. My friends, today is the anniversary of Moses' return. This day of Yom Kippur is the day where we let go of our failings and we remember that brokenness in and of itself is never where the story ends. The cracks, be they physical in shattered tablets or metaphorical, are precisely what allow us to make progress and grow in our own lives. The great Leonard Cohen famously said, "There's a crack in everything. That's how the light gets in." Educator and author Parker Palmer writes that suffering breaks our hearts, but there are two quite different ways for the heart to break. There's the brittle heart that breaks apart into 1,000 shards, a heart that takes us down as it explodes and is sometimes thrown like a grenade at the source of pain. Then there's the supple heart, the one that breaks open, not apart, growing into greater capacity for the many forms of love. Only the supple heart can hold suffering in a way that opens to new life. Jewish tradition chooses Palmer's supple heart as our model to deal with brokenness. In a Hasidic tale around the V'ahavta, the prayer which tells us to place words of love on our hearts, a student asked their teacher, "Why does the Torah tell us to place these words upon your hearts? Why does it not tell us to place these holy words in our hearts?" The Rebbe answers, "It's because as we are, our hearts are closed, and we cannot place the holy words in our hearts. So we place them on top of our hearts, and there they stay until one day the heart breaks and the words fall in." The words fall in. Our broken hearts can allow us to let the words fall in, the words being wisdom, acceptance, hope, and most importantly, love, only fully able to be absorbed in the wake of brokenness. Notions of beauty from brokenness are by no means limited to Jewish tradition and thought. There's a Japanese tradition that I have for a long while been fascinated by called kintsugi or kintsukuroi, meaning golden repair. Kintsukuroi is the art of restoring broken pottery by mending the areas of breakage with a golden lacquer mixture. As a philosophy, it treats breakage and repair as part of the valued history of an object rather than something to disguise. Instead of masking a brokenness or discarding something because of a crack or a schism, this art form elevates the brokenness and teaches that our flaws directly lead us to even greater beauty. One final story about a water bearer in India. Every day she carried 2 large pots, each balancing at the end of a big pole stabilized across her neck. One pot was in perfect shape, while the other had a crack in it. Day after day for years, she made the long trek to the river where she would fill the 2 pots and then journey home to her mistress's house. Upon arrival, the perfect pot would be perfectly full, and the cracked pot, having leaked the entire journey, would only contain half the volume of water. The cracked pot, ashamed of its own imperfection, one day spoke to the water bearer. "Because of my flaws, you have to do all of this work, and you don't even get full value from your efforts." The water bearer responded, "As we journey back to the house today, I want you to notice the beautiful flowers along the path." Indeed, the wild flowers to the side of the path were beautiful, and this did cheer the cracked pot some. But still feeling bad for its inadequacy, the pot apologized yet again to the water bearer. The bearer asked the pot, "Did you notice that there were flowers only on your side of the path, but not on the other perfect pot side?" That's because I have always known about your flaw, and I used it to our advantage. I planted flower seeds on your side of the path. And every day for all of these years, while we've walked back from the stream, you've watered those seeds. For 2 years, I've been able to pick these beautiful flowers to decorate the mistress's table. Without you being just the way you are, we would never have this beauty to grace our home. To be a human is to experience brokenness. We see the brokenness around us and within us. In A Blessing for the Brokenhearted, Jan Richardson writes, "Let us agree for now that we will not say that breaking makes us stronger, or that it is better to have this pain than to have done without this love. Let us promise we will not tell ourselves time will heal the wound when every day our walking opens it anew. Perhaps for now, it can be enough to simply marvel at the mystery of how a heart so broken can go on beating, as if it were made precisely for this, as if it knows the only cure for love is more of it, as if it sees the heart's sole remedy for breaking is to love still, as if it trusts that its own persistent pulse is the rhythm of a blessing we cannot begin to fathom, but will save us nonetheless. This new year, as we are standing before the Holy One, with just a few hours before those gates close, as we express the deepest yearnings of our hearts and souls, before the gates of repentance and renewal shut, may we hold our brokenness as a blessing, and may we, in our brokenheartedness, be a blessing for others. Ken Yehi Ratzon, may this be so.
Kol hakavod. As we prepare to begin our Torah service for this morning, we turn to page 252 for Avinu Malkeinu. And I invite you, if you're able, to rise and read with me in the English. Avinu Malkeinu, almighty and merciful, hear our voice. Avinu Malkeinu, we have strayed and sinned before you. Avinu Malkeinu, have compassion on us and our families. Avinu Malkeinu, halt the onslaught of sickness, violence, and hunger. Avinu Malkeinu, halt the reign of those who cause pain and terror. Avinu Malkeinu, enter our names in the book of lives well lived. Avinu Malkeinu, renew for us a year of goodness. Avinu Malkeinu, let our hands overflow with your blessings. Avinu Malkeinu, let our eyes behold the dawn of redemption. Avinu Malkeinu, we pray, do not turn us away from you with nothing. Avinu Malkeinu, welcome our prayer with love, accept and embrace it. Avinu Malkeinu, act toward us as befits your name. Avinu Malkeinu, act for our sake, for your sake, if not for ours. Avinu Malkeinu, you alone are our sovereign. Avinu Malkeinu, let the gates of heaven be open to our prayer. Avinu Malkeinu, hear our voice, treat us with tender compassion. Avinu Malkeinu, almighty and merciful, answer us with grace, for our deeds are wanting. Save us through acts of justice and love.
Avinu Malkeinu, Shema Koleinu. Avinu Malkeinu, Chatanu lefanecha. Avinu Malkeinu, Chamol aleinu, ve'alol aleinu, v'ta'ateinu. Malkeinu, Chanenu v'hanenu, Avinu Malkeinu, Chanenu v'hanenu, Ki ein banu ma'asim, ma'asim anu, tzedakah v'chesed, ma'asim anu, tzedakah v'chesed, ve'hosheinu. Avinu Malkeinu, Chanenu v'hanenu, Avinu Malkeinu, Chanenu v'hanenu, Ki ein banu ma'asim.
Now, page 255.
Ein kamocha v'Elohim Adonai, ve'ein k'ma'asecha, malachutecha malachut kol olamim, u'mimshaltecha bechol dor v'dor. Adonai melech, Adonai melech, Adonai yimelach le'olam va'ed, Adonai oz la'mo yitin, Adonai yivarech et amo v'vashalom. Adonai, Adonai, el rachum v'chanun, erech apayim v'rav chesed ve'emet, notze chesed la'alavim, nosei havon v'avisha, v'chata'a
Adonai, Adonai, God compassionate, gracious, endlessly patient, loving, and true, showing mercy to the 1000th generation, forgiving evil, defiance, and wrongdoing, granting pardon.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad, Echad Eloheinu, Gadol Adonenu, Kadosh v'nora Shemo.
Gadlu Adonai iti unechomama shemo yachdav.
Lecha Adonai hagedula v'hagevura v'haftiferet v'hanetzach v'chod ki kol bashamayim u'varetz ki kol bashamayim u'varetz Lecha Adonai hamamlacha v'hamitnaseh lechol erosh.
Seated. For our first aliyah today, the blessing before the Torah reading, I would like to call Ya'amod Sam Silverman.
(258) Baruch Hu es Adonai Hamvorach.
Baruch Adonai Hamvarach Le'olam Va'ed.
Baruch Adonai Hamvorach Le'olam Va'ed. Baruch Ata Adonai Eloheinu Melech HaOlam אשר בחר בנו מכל העמים, ונתן לנו את תורתו. ברוך אתה אדוני נותן התורה.
Amen. Amen. Let me just, never mind, it's in the book. Amen. Atem nitzavim hayom kulchem livnei Adonai Elohechem Rashechem Shivtechem Ziknechem V'shotrechem Kol Ish Yisrael Tapchem Nishechem V'gecha Asher B'kerev Machanecha Mechotev Etzecha Ad Shoev Memecha Le'avrecha Bivrit Adonai Elohecha Uv'alato Asher Adonai Elohecha Koret Imcha Hayom Leman Hakim Otcha Hayom Lo Le'am Vehu Yelecha Le'Elohim Ka'asher Diber Lach Ka'asher Nishba La'avotecha La'Avraham Le'Yitzchak U'le'Yakov V'lo itchem levadechem Anochi koret et habrit hazot et ha'ala hazot ki et asher yeshno po imanu Omed hayom lifnei Adonai Elohecha ve'et asher einenu po imanu hayom.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher natan lanu torat emet v'chayei olam nata betochenu. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen. And I'd like to invite Joni Schaefer to read the English for us.
You stand this day, all of you, in the presence of Adonai your God, your tribal heads, elders, and officials, every man, woman, and child of Israel, and the stranger in the midst of your camp, from the one who cuts your wood to the one who draws your water, to enter into the covenant of Adonai your God and the oath that Adonai your God makes with you this day, to establish you as God's people and to be your God, as promised to you and sworn to your ancestors, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. And not with you alone do I make this covenant and this oath, but with each one who stands here among us this day, in the presence of Adonai our God, and with each one who is not here among us this day.
Second Aliyah, Ta'amod Hazel Tishkaf.
Baruch hu et Adonai hamvorach.
Baruch Adonai hamvarach leolam va'ed.
Baruch Adonai hamvorach leolam va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bachar banu mikol ha'amim v'natan lanu et torato. Baruch atah Adonai, noten haTorah.
Amen.
Amen. Our Torah reader for the second Aliyah is Ellen Rothstein.
One second. Sorry. Ki hamitzvah hazot, asher anochi mitzavacha hayom, lo nifleit hi mimcha, v'lo rachucha hi, lo vashamayim hi, lemor, mi ya'aleh lanu, hashamayma, v'yikacheka lanu, v'yashmienu ota, v'na'asena. V'lo me'ver layam, hi lemor, mi ya'avar lanu, El Ever Hayam Vayechachecha Lanu V'yashmi'enu Ota V'na'asena. Ki karov eleka hadavar ma'od b'ficha uvilvavacha la'asoto. Re'ei natati lefanecha hayom et hachayim ve'et hatov ve'et hamavet ve'et hara. Asher anochi mitzavacha hayom la'ahava et Adonai Elohecha la'lechet bidrachav Lishmor mitzvotav uchukotav umishpatav v'chayitav v'ravita uvarachacha Adonai Elohecha ba'aretz asher ata v'shama lavishta. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher natan lanu Torat emet v'chayei olam nata b'tochenu. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen. Our English reader for this Aliyah is Ron Schweiger.
For this mitzvah, which I command you this day, is neither beyond you nor far away. It is not in heaven, causing you to say, who will go up to heaven on our behalf? Get it for us, and let us hear it, that we may do it. And it is not across the sea, causing you to say, who will cross the sea on our behalf? Get it for us, and let us hear it, that we may do it. No, this is so very near to you, in your mouth and in your heart, that you can surely do it. Behold, this day I place before you life and well-being, death and hardship. In that I command you this day to love Adonai and walk in the ways of your God, to observe the mitzvot, laws, and judgments, so you may live and flourish, blessed by Adonai your God, in the land that is about to be yours.
For our third Aliyah today, Ya'amod Joel Moss.
Huet Adonai Hambarach.
Baruch Adonai Hambarach Le'olam Va'ed.
Baruch Adonai Hambarach Le'olam Va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher ba'acham banu mikol ha'amim v'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen. If you want to follow along, page 268, starting on verse 17. Amen. V'im yifnei levavcha v'lo tishma v'nidachta v'chishtachavita le'elohim acherim ve'avadtam. Higadati lachem hayom Ki avod tovedun lo ta'arichun yamim al hadama asher ata over et hayarden lavo sham al rishta ha'idoti vachem hayom et hashamayim ve'et haaretz ha'chayim ve'hamavet natati lefanecha habracha ve'haklala uvacharta v'chayim lema'an tichye ata v'zarecha le'ahava את אדוני אלוהיך, לשמוע בקולו ולדוב קבו. כי הוא חייך ואורך ימיך, לשבת על האדמה אשר נשבע אדוני לאבותיך, לאברהם, ליצחק וליעקב, לתת לכם.
Yasher Koach.
ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם אשר נתן בנו תורת אמת וחיי עולם נתן בפנינו. ברוך אתה אדוני נותן התורה.
Amen. For the English reading, I would like to invite Teddy Moskowitz.
But if you turn away, refusing to listen and going astray, bow down to other gods and serve them, I tell you now, you will perish. Yes, you will perish, and you will not last long in the land you are crossing the Jordan to possess. This day I call heaven and earth to witness regarding you. Life and death I have set before you, blessing and curse. Choose life so that you and your children may live by loving, obeying, and staying close to Adonai your God. For God gives you life and length of days to dwell upon the land that Adonai swore to your ancestors, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob.
Thank you to everyone. We turn our thoughts now to those among us and those in our hearts who are ill and who are in need of healing of body, of mind, or of spirit. Our prayer for healing, our Misha Berach, is on page 273. We hold in our thoughts and in our hearts for healing today Jesse Sakharov, Ira Weiss, Elaine Drucker, Allison Plummer, Patty Ann Cubero, Rabbi Dara Lerner, Susan Sisler, Alan Fremer, Valerie Pace, George Landberg, Susan Bilecki, Dana Haitkin Nelson, Arlene Rosenthal, Michael Luck, Randall Rose, Arthur Rose, Barbara Weiner, Joan Lifshitz, Andy Glansman, Amy Juskowitz Soonseller, Deanna Roth, Roz Bornstein, Ingrid Grosso, Audrey Cohen, Eddie DeAngelis, Ira Goldman, Vicki Lightnaker, Sarah Brooks Kamen, Nettie Trommer, Mia Gannon, Jeff Abel, Monica Beyer, Patty and Erwin Cohen, Judith Weiss, Fran Arnowitz, Dr. Usha Gorty, Paul Markowitz, Pat Colella, Delphine Wolf, Bill McShane, Dottie Tabikman, Harvey Barkin, Leah Madelon, John Belay, Liz Yasuda, Mark Steiner, Marion Mandel, Sharon Moskowitz, Nicole Moskowitz, Celia Karp, Mimi Karp, Anne-Marie Rogan, Richard Zagam, Mark Holz, Shirley Amrani, Joseph Martino, Florence Schoen, Cynthia Wilson, Stacy and David Mauser, Joellen Fox, Irv Golden, Della Cohen, Maxine Breland, Liz Clark, Rosalie Epstein, Steve Fisher, Debbie Lichman, Beth Dugan, Arlene Scher, Hannah Paynes, Linda Kushner Silverman, Kay Josephs. We include also all of those names that you are entering in the chat now, and those whose names you might wish to say aloud for yourself in your home or just hold in your heart. We include also all of those who are suffering from COVID-19. We include those who have been wounded in service to our country or Israel, and those who have been hurt in recent disasters, whether natural disasters, including the hurricanes, earthquakes, wildfires, or human created disasters, whether shootings or conflicts around the world, including in Afghanistan. Page 273.
מי שברך אבותינו מקור הברכה לאמותינו. May the source of strength who blessed the ones before us help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say Amen. מי שברך אמותינו מקור הברכה לאבותינו. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say Amen.
I invite you to rise to honor the Torah.
וזאת התורה אשר שם משה לפני בני ישראל על פי אדוני ביד משה.
We turn now to our Haftarah for today. The blessing is on page 275, and I would like to invite Jeff Levinson to do the blessing.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bachar b'yamim tovim v'ratzad v'divrehem hane'amarim be'emet. Baruch atah Adonai haboker b'Torah u'Moshe avdo u'Yisrael amo u'v'nve'im v'hemet v'tzedek.
Amen. The Haftarah begins on page 344. And our first reader is Henry Schaefer.
And the word of Adonai came to Jonah, son of Amittai. Get up, go to the great city of Nineveh and proclaim against it, for their evil deeds have risen up before me. But Jonah got up to flee to Tarshish, away from the presence of Adonai. And he went down to Jaffa and found there a ship heading for Tarshish. And he paid his fare and went down into it to head with them to Tarshish, away from the presence of Adonai. But Adonai hurled a great wind upon the sea, a storm at sea so great that the ship was in danger of being shattered to pieces. And the sailors were frightened, cried out, each to his own god, and flung the ship's cargo onto the sea to lighten their load. But Jonah had gone down into the hold, the lower deck of the vessel, and he lay down and fell into a deep sleep. And the captain approached him and said to him, "What are you doing sound asleep? Get up, call to your God. Perhaps the God will be kind to us and we will not perish." And they said, each man to his companion, Let us cast lots that we might know on whose account this evil event has come to us. So they cast lots, and the lot fell on Jonah. And they said to him, tell us, you who have
Can't get
brought
out
this
of here.
evil upon us. What is your trade?
Shut it off.
And where have you come from? What is your country? And who are your people? And he said to them, I am a Hebrew. I revere Adonai, God of heaven, who made sea and dry land. The men felt great fear, and they asked him, what have you done? Because the men knew he was fleeing from Adonai, for so he had told them. And they asked him, what should we do to you to bring calm to the sea around us? For the sea was growing more and more stormy. So he said to them, lift me up and hurl me into the sea, and the sea will calm down for you. For I know that this great storm came upon you because of me. And the crew rowed hard to return to the dry land, but they could not do it, for the sea was raging more and more fiercely around them. And they called out to Adonai and saying, please, Adonai, please do not let us perish because of the life of this man, and do not hold us guilty of shedding innocent blood. For you, Adonai, that which you desired, you have brought about. And they lifted Jonah and hurled him into the sea. Then the sea stopped raging. The men revered Adonai. Great was their reverence. So they offered to Adonai a sacrifice and made vows.
Thank you. Thank you, Henry. Susan Sisler, would you please continue?
And Adonai provided a great fish to swallow Jonah. And Jonah was in the belly of the fish 3 days and 3 nights. Jonah prayed to Adonai his God from the belly of the fish. And he said, I called to Adonai in my distress, and God answered me. I cried out from the belly of the netherworld, and you heard my voice. Into the depths you cast me, into the heart of the sea, and the flood engulfed me. All your billowing, breaking waves swept over me. And I thought to myself, I was banished from before your eyes. Will I ever again gaze upon you, your holy temple? The waters closed in over me. The deep engulfed me. Rushes wrapped around my head. I descended to the low point of the mountains. The gates of the earth closed upon me forever. Yet you, Adonai, my God, raised up my life from the pit. When my life fainted away, I called Adonai to mind, and my prayer came to you, to your holy temple. They who cling to empty folly forsake their own welfare. But I, with a shout of thanksgiving, I will sacrifice to you. What I have vowed, I will fulfill. Rescue comes from Adonai. Adonai commanded the fish, and it spewed Jonah out upon dry land.
Thank you, Susan. Catherine Haslanger, would you continue, please?
And the word of Adonai came to Jonah a second time. Get up, go to the great city of Nineveh, and call out to it the proclamation that I tell you. So Jonah got up and went to Nineveh according to the word of Adonai. Now Nineveh was a great city of God, 3 days' journey across. And Jonah started out and made his way into the city the distance of a 1-day walk. And he called out and said, 40 more days and Nineveh shall be overturned. The people of Nineveh trusted in God, and they proclaimed a fast. And they put on sackcloth from the richest to the poorest. And word reached the king of Nineveh, and he got up from his throne, took off his robe, put on sackcloth, and sat in ashes. And he cried out and said in Nineveh, by decree of the king and his nobles, no person or beast, flock or herd, shall taste anything. They shall not graze, and they shall not drink water. They shall be covered with sackcloth, person and beast, and shall call loudly to God. Let all turn back from their evil ways and from the violence which is in their hands. Who knows, God may turn and relent, turn back from the heat of anger, so that we do not perish. God saw what they did, how they were turning back from their evil ways, and God relented from the evil planned for them and did not carry it out.
Thank you, Catherine. Emily Whitehead, would you please take us home?
But to Jonah, this was a great evil, and it made him angry. So he prayed to Adonai, saying, "Please, Adonai, is this not what I said when I was still in my own country? This is why I fled to Tarshish to begin with, for I knew that you are gracious and compassionate, God, endlessly patient and abounding in steadfast love, ready to repent of evil. And now, Adonai, please take my life from me, for it is better for me to die than to live." And Adonai said, "Is it good for you to be angry?" Then Jonah left the city, found a place east of the city, made himself a shelter there, and sat under it in the shade until he might see what would become of the city. And Adonai Elohim provided a gourd and made it rise up over Jonah to give shade for his head and rescue him from his evil situation. And Jonah rejoiced with great joy because of the gourd. But at dawn the next day, God provided a worm that attacked the gourd, and it withered. And as the sun rose, God provided an oppressive wind from the east, and the sun beat down on Jonah's head, making him faint. He begged for death, saying, "It is better for me to die than to live." Then God said to Jonah, "Are you good and angry about the gourd?" And he said, "I am good and angry to the point of death." Then Adonai said, "You pitied the gourd, which you neither worked for nor grew, which appeared overnight and perished overnight. Should I then not have compassion for the great city of Nineveh, a place of more than 120,000 human beings, unable to tell their right hand from their left, and many beasts?"
Thank you. The blessing after the Haftarah is on page 280.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech ha'olam, sor kol ha'olamim, tzaddik b'kol adorot, ha'el ha'ne'ema, ha'omer v'oseh, ha'medaber kayim, shekol devarev emet v'tzedek. Al ha'torah ve'al ha'avodah ve'al ha'invim, ve'al yom ha'kippurim hazeh, shenatata lanu Adonai Eloheinu, limchila v'lishlach uch'chapara, l'chavod iltefaret. Al hakol Adonai Eloheinu, anachnu modim lach, umvarichim otach. Yitbarach shimcha b'fi kol chai tamid le'olam va'ed, u'devar cha emet v'chayim la'ad. Baruch atah Adonai, melech mochel v'solech lavotenu, lavonot amo beit Yisrael, u'ma'avir ashmotenu b'chol shana v'shana, melech ha-kol ha'aretz mekadesh Yisrael v'yom ha'kippurim.
Amen. We are going to return the Torah to the Ark, page 290. I invite you, if you're able, to rise. Yehallelu et Shem Adonai ki niskav shemo levado. All praise God's name, for God's name alone is truly sublime.
Shamayim vayarem keren le'amo tehillah lechol chasidav livnei Yisrael am kerovo. Hallelujah.
Page 293, we continue with our Vidui confessional. We'll read together. Because I was angry, because I did not think, because I was exhausted and on edge, because I'd been drinking, because I can be mean, because I was reckless and selfish, because I was worried about money, because my marriage was dead, because other people were doing it, because I thought I could get away with it, because I did something wrong, because I'm in pain, because I wish I could undo it, because I hurt him, because I lost her trust, because I let them down, because I was self-destructive, because I was foolish, because I'm ashamed, because that's not who I am, because that's not who I want to be, because I want to be forgiven. God, bring down my walls of defensiveness and self-righteousness. Help me to stay in humility. Please give me the strength to do what's right.
וקבל ברחמים וברצון את תפילתנו. השיבנו אדוני אליך ונשובה. חדש ימינו
Shema Kolenu, hear our call, Adonai our God. Show us compassion. Accept our prayer with love and goodwill. Take us back, Adonai. Let us come back to you. Renew our days as in the past. Hear our words, Adonai. Understand our unspoken thoughts. May the speech of our mouths and our hearts' quiet prayer be acceptable to you, Adonai, our rock and our redeemer. Do not cast us away from your presence or cut us off from your Holy Spirit. Do not cast us away when we are old, as our strength diminishes. Do not forsake us. Do not forsake us, Adonai. Be not far from us, our God. With hope, Adonai, we await you. Surely you, Adonai, our God, you will answer.
אלוהינו ואלוהי אבותינו ואמותינו, תבוא לפניך תפילתנו, ואל תתעלם מתחינתנו. אדוני אלוהינו ואלוהי אבותינו ואמותינו, צדיקים אנחנו ולא חטאנו, אבל בגדנו, גזלנו, דיברנו דופי, איי 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 הבינו והישנו זדנו חמסנו תפלנו שקט איי 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 יעצנו רע כיזבנו נצנו מרדנו ניהצנו שרנו אבינו פשענו צרנו קישינו עורף איי 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 רשענו שיחדנו תיעבנו טעינו תיתנו איי 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 איי
Page 300, we read together in the English. For these sins, our God, we ask forgiveness. The ways we have wronged you under duress and by choice, and harm we have caused in your world consciously and unconsciously. The ways we have wronged you through our thoughtlessness, and harm we have caused in your world through impulsive acts of malice. The ways we have wronged you by abusing our power, and harm we have caused in your world through disrespect to parents and teachers. The ways we have wronged you by giving in to our hostile impulses, and harm we have caused in your world through inflexibility and stubbornness. The ways we have wronged you through lies and deceit, and harm we have caused in your world by making light of serious matters. The ways we have wronged you in our routine conversations, and harm we have caused in your world through envy. For all these failures of judgment and will, God of forgiveness, forgive us, pardon us, lead us to atonement.
על כולם אלוה סליחות סלח לנו מחלנו כפר לנו ועל כולם אלוה סליחות סלח לנו סלח לנו סלח לנו מחלנו כפר לנו.
We continue together on page 304. The ways we have wronged you openly and secretly, and harm we have caused in your world by hating without cause. The ways we have wronged you by losing self-control, and harm we have caused in your world through consumption of food and drink. The ways we have wronged you through sexual immorality, and harm we have caused in your world by hardening our hearts. The ways we have wronged you through greed and exploitation, and harm we have caused in your world through dishonesty in business. The ways we have wronged you through our innermost thoughts, and harms we have caused in your world through gossip and rumor. the ways we have wronged you by offering or accepting bribes, and harm we have caused in your world by profaning your name in public. For all these failures of judgment and will, God of forgiveness, forgive us, pardon us, grant us atonement.
ועל כולם אלוה סליחות, סלח לנו מחלנו, כפר לנו. ועל כולם אלוה סליחות, סלח לנו מחלנו, סלח לנו מחלנו, כפר לנו.
We now take some time for our silent introspection and opportunity for confession or repentance. There are prompts on pages 308 and 309 to assist us if we want them. Even with all that we may have done wrong, all that we need to confess, we are still God's people, and God is our God. Ki anu amecha, page 310.
כי אנו עמך ואתה מלכנו, אנו עבדיך ואתה אבינו, אנו נחלתך ואתה גורלנו, אנו צאנך ואתה רועינו, אנו כרמך ואתה נוטבנו, אנו רעייתך ואתה דודנו.
If I could see God's face within my heart, I'd see the face of a gardener, compassionate to weed and flower alike, patiently pruning, graciously planting, loving the endless hours of tending and nurturing the earth, seeds, roots, all that grows, and true to the essence of the gardener's work, forgiving the fallen branches, the withered petals, the cracked stones, the broken stems. If I could see God's face within my heart, I'd see the human face in 1,000 acts of mercy, the one who gives bread to the hungry and shelters the lost, who hears the voice of grief and makes room for the stranger, who brings relief to the blind, the bent, the unjustly imprisoned, and is true to the essence of holy work, resisting evil, healing brokenness, easing pain, and, in the end, forgiving ourselves as God forgives us. Adonai, Adonai, God, compassionate, gracious, endlessly patient, loving, and true, showing mercy to the 1,000th generation, forgiving evil, defiance, and wrongdoing, granting pardon.
Adonai, Adonai, El Rachum v'Chanun, Erech Apayim v'Rav Chesed v'Emet, Notze Chesed la'olafim, Nose Avon v'Avesha, v'Chata'a
At the top of page 317, let's all read together. Shema kolenu Adonai Eloheinu. Hear our call, Adonai Eloheinu, and may we hear yours in our apologies and confessions, in the meditations of our heart, in the accountings of our soul. Hear our call, and may we hear yours in words of counsel and consolation, in the silence of one who listens, in the strength of a hand that upholds. Hear our call, Adonai Eloheinu, as we strive to hear yours on this day of the heart, this day of repair and healing. Page 318.
Hayom, 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 hayom tamseinu, amen. Hayom, 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 hayom. Hayom tevarchenu, amen. Hayom, 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 hayom tegadlenu, amen. Hayom, hayom, hayom. Hayom, 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 hayom tidrishenu letova, amen. Hayom, 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 hayom tikvinu l'chaim tovim, amen. Hayom, 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 hayom tishma shavatenu, amen. Hayom, 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 hayom titmechin b'min tzidacha, amen.
This concludes our morning service. Yizkor will begin at 12:30 here on Zoom. And Rabbi Pinsky?
Our family services, we are going ahead with our plan to be in person outside. The radar looks clear for now, but just in case, if you want to bring back up umbrellas so you can still dance in case there's a couple droplets, but we're praying for clear skies and look forward to seeing folks in person outside.
So that'll be at 2. And then Yizkor outdoors also, and we're going to, at this moment, plan to go ahead with that as well. That will be at, what do we say, 3:30? 30?
Well.
Double checking. 3:30. Yes, 3:30. And then at 5 o'clock is our study session back on Zoom, and Ne'ilah at 6 o'clock on Zoom. We're going to leave the Zoom room open until Yizkor begins at 12:30 on Zoom.
Click.
Everyone muted?
Yeah, Gail, it's awfully quiet.
Hello, everybody.
There you go.
Wonderful
It's
Saturday.
not Tova, everyone. Shana Tova, everyone.
Lashana
Shana
Tova. You did very good reading. Very nice. Very good. Very good.
Beautiful service.
Yes.
Yes.
It was lovely. Yes. You staying on?
We're staying on through Yizkor, and then we'll take a break, and then
Yeah.
we'll be back.
Us too. Us too. I remember the children's service when I went into the room. It was so much fun. She had the instruments and explaining everything. We were dancing. Charlotte was there too. I remember we were just having a good time, but doesn't pay for us to go
Great.
over there.
Hey,
right.
Shirley.
Oh, hi, Gail.
Hi.
Shirley,
How are you?
how you doing?
Good. How are you all?
Good. How's Robert?
Good. Fine.
Hey, Myra.
Hey.
Hi.
Jesse, how you
And
doing?
Jesse.
Okay.
Hey. Teddy, I keep looking for you on your bicycle. I have to get you over to Marine Park.
It's
We'll
so
just-
big, that park.
Can't hear you.
It's big, that park. It's very big.
Yeah, we can do some loops on the bike, and I'll show you the bike path on Gerritsen Avenue.
That's right.
No.
Yeah, it's still hot. So when it gets cooler, that's when I'm going to ride my bike. And so I'll ride over when it gets cool. It's cool. I ride, I get
Getting
very
there.
hot. I get extremely hot because I ride fast.
Right. That'll do it.
How you doing, Eslin? How you doing? You look so nice.
Prima,
Yes, darling.
guess what came 2 days ago?
The dress?
Yes. Yes, it came. Oh, I'm so excited.
See?
And it fits really, really good.
See, this is
What don't I know about?
the miracle. I gotta tell Debbie the whole story with the dress.
Oh, that's
Oh
right.
my God, it's a miracle. We're actually looking.
Diane.
Sherry's mother and I are looking for dresses, for the wedding.
Oh, my.
That's what I say.
I'm not wearing a gown. I told her all my things go below the knee anyway, so I'm not. I actually found something cute in Macy's, maybe.
Okay.
Not so bad. It's like a plain dress with a lace jacket because I'm, I'm too old for all this beading and all this stuff now. And I'm short. We're all short. So I mean, like,
You want to see you?
Yeah. Yes, that's right. That's right. But anyway, we're gonna look. So we'll see. Oh, I'm so happy. What color is this dress again?
It's black.
Uh-huh.
It's black, but it's just the style. It's just the make. It's just very English and Belgian clothing that fits so very well.
Oh,
Boy, there's a combination.
That's from Brussels. If you go to Brussels, their clothing is just very well made. I mean, it fits like it was, like they measured you personally, and then below the dress, that's how it fits. It's just really, really good.
Oh, that's what I need. Something like that. That's beautiful.
May I ask where you're planning to wear this dress? It sounds so lovely.
Well, it was the last day I was leaving the UK to return back to New York, and I was walking past the store. I'd gone to Scotland and was coming back, and I saw in the window. I said, "Oh, I love this dress." So I ran in. I liked it. I tried it on. It fit, and I said, "Oh, thank heavens!" But when I got to pay, they said they had it in tall because I'm tall. And it wasn't in tall, but it did fit. So I said, "Oh, can I get it?" She said, "Oh, sure, but we don't have it in the store. So we're going to have to get it from another store. So it will be here in 2 days." I said, "No, I leave tomorrow morning." This said, "I said, but my family are here, so I'll just leave their address. And when it comes in, they'll pick it up." So one of my nieces picked it up. And it's been 2 years since 2019. Oh, geez. Every day I'm thinking, my dress, my dress, my dress. But where am I going? There's no place to go right now. So, but still, I wanted to have it. It's mine.
That's right.
So eventually I said, "Please, please, 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 please." So she said, "Auntie, why don't you come and get the dress?" I said, "No, I'm not coming. You send the dress." So that's how that happened. So it's not for any special occasion, but if I get dressed to go somewhere, it'll fit. It's really gorgeous.
You will find somewhere special to wear it.
Exactly.
Yes.
That's exactly what I was going to say.
Oh my gosh, I'm so happy about this dress because when I heard this story, I'm like all the time, did you get the dress? Did you get? Oh, I'm so happy for you.
Yeah, oh my goodness.
Because I know it was something you really wanted. You know that.
I really wanted the dress. I really liked it. I really liked it.
You could just tell when somebody really wants something. You know, it's like sometimes we could do it and sometimes we can't. Oh, beautiful. I'm so happy. I'm so happy to see you.
It's a dress that can be casual and you can dress it up. So it's that sort of dress.
How far down does it come on you? Below your knee?
It's between my ankle and my knee.
Oh, okay. Like
I made way down. It's not short. It's a little about I'd say 4 inches or 5 inches above my ankle.
So now they call it
mid-calf.
You know that length. I like that length. Yeah.
Ah, midi. Yeah, because when we're looking on the computer now, we're looking for all these things, cocktail dresses and all these, and they don't, please, you don't, it's not so easy anymore to find these things.
No,
you know?
It's not.
Yeah. And we don't want to spend a lot of money on these things. So we're looking, we're going to find. I may just get that dress anyway.
You may get good deals. You may get good deals because people have not been shopping much. So
Right,
but
exactly.
in Macy's about 2 weeks ago after I didn't get the dress, I said, "Geez, I might as well look for something else."
Yeah.
And I saw so many nice clothing, really, really nice clothing that was very reduced price. So you may get something that's quite reduced.
Yeah, well, we actually saw this in a couple of designs. We actually saw it in Macy's, and they have it in my size. So I just may get it anyway, whether I wear, because she hasn't decided what colors. Hey, Karen, how are you, my dog?
Hey, congratulations on the upcoming wedding.
Thank you, thank you. Just have to have patience. You know how you pray for patience?
Yes.
I have to pray for a lot of patience.
When is it? I didn't mean to interrupt your conversation. When is it?
April 24th, the day right after
nice.
Passover ends.
Very nice. Very
Yeah.
nice.
Yes, my family was okay. We have to make adjustments to Passover now. Because if they were going away, they can't go away.
For a wonderful reason, though, you know?
Yes.
Yeah.
In Roslyn, Long Island.
Yeah.
Monica. Monica, nice to see you.
Wonderful to see you as well. It's so nice. It's been a long while.
Yes, yes, yes. Nice to see all the faces I don't normally see now. So it's nice to see.
Yes.
Nice to see your face.
It's what I really like about Zoom, because when you're sitting, as much as I love sitting every Friday night at Temple, during the service, basically what you see in the back of whoever's head is in front of you, and here you get to see everybody's face.
Yes, yes.
So it really it's very personal in many ways. I think even more personal than being there in person.
That's correct.
So it's great to see you as well, and I'm glad you're well and home. That's good.
I agree. How are you feeling, Monica?
Hanging in. You know, my arms are getting very long from hanging
what?
in. My
Oh, your
are
arms.
getting very long
Your
from
arms. I
hanging
got
in, but you know.
I got it now. I got it. But you're looking
What color is your dress? What color is your dress?
Okay, so this dress is navy blue. So we don't know if that's going to be the colors that she wants, but I figure for that price, it's $100 and some odd. It's not a big deal. So I should get it anyway, just in case of I have a beautiful yellow dress with lace, that's short sleeves, that I never wore. I had bought 2 dresses from the magazine and altered them and everything. So I'll show it to her. Maybe she'll change it to yellow.
Is she saying blue now?
Huh?
Is blue what she wants now?
She doesn't know yet. Oh, maybe blue, because her favorite flower is sunflowers, which is yellow. So she loves yellow. So she's going to try to make a blue or an orange or something with it. It's a lot of things up in the air. She has all different opinions about things. We go along with the flow. I said, whatever it is, and I could get it. If I can't get it, this is what I'm wearing. So we try, you know.
It was very nice to see Larry last night, but we couldn't see Sherry.
She didn't want to be on camera. She's a very pretty girl, but she didn't want to be on camera. So it's okay. Listen, but I think she saw afterwards, I think she went on more she saw Rabbi Heidi and Noni, and she is a very pretty girl, but she listen, I'm not going to force anybody to do what they want to do. I offer this now and that's it, they actually went to Chabad.
I didn't mean it for that reason. It would have been nice to meet her,
Yeah, it would be nice. Yeah, I tell because I'm so different than she is. She's like so shy, and I'm like, oh, this is shy. This is, and she's like, we're so completely different personalities. But It works. I hope it works, anyway. We try to,
It will.
blend in together,
will.
but it is what it is. We try.
Lots of deep breathing.
Yeah, I'm so much different than her parents are, so it's like it's but it's good. It's all good.
One way or the other, it'll work out.
Yes,
It's
of
gonna have
course.
to, right?
Of course, we're all good. And I like your flower dress today, or blouse.
Oh, actually, I didn't really think it was appropriate for a Yom Kippur, and I had something else picked out that was dark and solid. It's still too hot and humid, and I really don't do well in clothes with long sleeves and that sort of thing in this weather. So I thought, well, God will have to forgive me. What can
It's
I say?
okay. I'm sure he's watching down. You're supposed to wear white, so that's where I put on
White,
a white
yeah.
and my white jewelry. But it's okay. The skirt is blue with flowers on it.
I had a white shirt picked out, just a plain shirt. But honestly, it was so big that it looked ridiculous. So I stayed with where I was. That's all.
It's okay. Listen, it is what it is. Everybody wears what they feel comfortable in wearing. There's no written laws.
Which is one of the nice things about the Temple family, is it really is come as you are, and we come as we are, and that's fine. Nobody minds. I like that very much.
Yes, we accept. Debbie, you here? Debbie, you coming back? Where are you going?
I'm going to look for my book, which I figure is on the
Oh,
couch. which of course I
excuse
can't
us.
get.
1 minute. 1 minute. We'll be back.
Bye.
Okay. Wait, Debbie, this way. This way. Okay. I can get you the book. Okay. So it's all right. Debbie's leaving us for a while. Oh my God. Okay.
Hello,
We're here.
Candy. How are you?
Who's here?
It's
Let me
Monica.
see. Let me see who's
Hi,
here.
Candy.
Let's see. Some people left.
I'm here, Shirley.
Shirley.
Yes.
So what's going on? What's new and exciting?
Well, I have. Oops.
There we go. No, unmute.
Hi.
There we are.
Hi.
Now we're here.
Hi, how are you? It's good to see you.
It's
great to see you.
Things are good? Wonderful.
Hi.
You have to bring the camera down some, because I can only see the bottom of your face. Now I can see you.
Hey.
Well, hard to go.
How are you?
Good to see you, though. I'm glad things
Hello,
are
my
well.
dear. Hello.
How are you doing?
Candy. Hi. Hello, Candy.
Hi.
How are you? Hi there, Freema. It's great to see you.
It's so nice to see everybody. If I shrank it, and I want you to know I'm sitting on a pillow, I'm still shrinking. I'm going to be a nothing by the time this wedding is.
You look fine. You're just right in the screen.
Oh, thank you.
Hello.
I keep telling her that she's got to go to an old used bookstore and find a couple of those great big books that they used to send with everybody's address and phone number in it.
I
That's
still
what
have
she
them.
needs. She needs a couple of those underneath the pillow, and then she'll be cool with her.
That's right.
But I keep telling her she won't listen.
Then I'll be above the screen. Then I definitely will be above. Oh, because a few people are on probably that are not. Well, we're on. We're not muted because everybody could talk. You know where talk is.
Absolutely. It
Candy,
keeps
how
the
is
spirit.
Jen doing? How is Jennifer?
She is well. She's doing okay.
Thank God.
It's difficult, but she's good. Oh, what did I do? You're fine. Okay, is that better? Yeah.
That echo happens when there are
What?
two people in the same room with on
Ah.
Zoom.
That's
Oh,
Robin
that-
and me. Yes.
Oh, okay.
Just
What?
elevating our iPads, but we're echoing. Yeah, I know. I don't know why. Because we're cute together. Oh my.
One of you needs to mute and turn off your sound.
You're right. I'll mute. Okay. Hold on. As soon as I figure out how. There's mute.
Yeah, you were going to be such experts on this computer. We're going to be so professional.
You are so correct. So correct.
My stories were every time I had a job with a computer, I'm like, oh my God, a computer.
What? I got a text from somebody yesterday saying that she was absolutely shocked. She said, "What has happened to you? You're texting, you have an iPhone, and you're doing Zoom. Are you this? Who stole my friend, and what are you doing in her body?" She was absolutely amazed. Can I tell you?
I love it. I love it. It's just
Okay. Good afternoon, everyone. We are getting ready to begin our Yizkor service for this afternoon. It is going to start in the prayer book on page 540. And of course, this is not the way we would choose to do Yizkor. We would choose to be together in our sanctuary. And yet it is still very important for us to remember those that we love and whom we miss every single day. And so if emotion overwhelms you, and that's something that you're uncomfortable with having people see, well, it's easy to have people not see it now and for you to freely feel whatever it is that you are feeling during our service. So we begin with Eli, Eli, page 540.
שלא ייגמר לעולם, החול והיום, רשרוש של המים, ברק השמיים, תפילת האדם, החול והים, רשרוש של המים, ברק השמיים, תפילת האדם. Oh God, my God, I pray that these things never end. The sand and the sea, the rush of the waters, the crash of the heavens, the prayer of the heart, the sand and the sea, the rush of the waters, the crash of the heavens, the prayer of the heart.
Like the stars by day Our beloved dead are not seen with mortal eyes, but they shine on in the untroubled firmament of endless time. This is the hour of memory, and this is our house of comfort. Wounded by loss, we retreat from life. Our synagogue gathers us in spirit. Into this place, we bring stories and prayers, unanswered questions, tears that need to be shed, lives recollected and carried within us, moments of courage and laughter and pain. This day embraces them all. This place, virtual though it may be, embraces us all. Now the heart opens in sorrow, for we are time's subjects, and all that we love we must lose. So let us hold fast to the love that remains and cherish the light of the sun. Today, all of us walk the mourner's path. Together, may we find strength. We turn to page 546. Page 550. We die despite appointments and feuds, while our toddler, who has recently learned to say no, opens and shuts drawers 100 times a day, and our teen braces for the rapids of romance. We die despite the contracts and business trips we planned, when our desk is untidy, despite a long list of things to do, which we keep simmering like a rich broth. We die despite work we cherish, marrying whom we love, piling up a star-spangled fortune, basking on the Riviera of fame, and achieving that human participle with no known object. Life is not fair, the old saw goes. We know, but the saw glides slow, one faint rasp, and then, at length, another. When you died, I felt its jagged teeth rip. Small heart wounds opened and bled, closing as new ones opened ahead. Horror welled, not from the how, but the when. You died at the top of your career, happy, blessed by love, still young. Playing by evolution's rules, you won, prospered, bred, rose in your tribe, did what the parent gods and society prized. Yet it didn't save you, love or dough. Even when it happens slow, it happens fast, and then there's no tomorrow. Time topples. The castle of cards collapses. Thoughts melt. The subscription lapses. What a waste of life we spent in asking, in wish and worry and want and sorrow. A tall man, you lie low now and forever, complete, your brilliant star eclipsed. Lost friend, you taught me lessons I longed to learn, and this final one I've learned against my will, the one spoken in silence, warning us to love hard and deep. Clutch dear ones tighter, ransom each day, the horror lesson I saw out of the corner of my eye, but refuse to believe until now. We die. At the bottom of page 551, please read with me. Out of the depths I cry to you. Hear me, hear my voice. Let my plea reach your ear. Page 556.
מאין יבוא עזרי, עזרי, מעם אדוני, עושה שמיים, שמיים, עליתים לעמוד רגליך על ינום שמריך הנה לא ינום ולא יישן שומע ישראל אדוני שומרך אדוני צילך על יד ימינך יומם השמש לא יכך וירח בלילה אדוני ישמורך מכל רע ישמור את נפשך אדוני ישמור צאתך ובואך מעתה מעתה ועד עולם.
Page 558. A prayer for those who mourn the suicide of a loved one. Let there be rest, and let it be at last the perfect rest, O merciful God Most High. Let there be light, heaven's radiance, gleaming light of the holy and pure, for my holy and pure one, whose corner was lit only by broken shards of light, not nearly enough to see by. Let there be in my life a shelter against the storms of guilt, anger, grief, and pain. When dark clouds gather above me, may I find a warm shelter of peace. And let there be a circle of souls around me, patient, persistent, filled with your compassion. And let us be bound up in a loving bond that will not break. Rest, light, shelter of peace, circle of souls, and give me the strength to praise. Page 561. The echo of your promise. When I cry, my voice trembles with fear. When I call out, it cracks with anger. How can I greet the dawn with song when darkness eclipses the rising sun? To whom shall I turn when the clouds of the present eclipse the rays of tomorrow? Turn me around to yesterday, that I may be consoled by its memories. Were not the seas split asunder? Did we not once walk together through the waters to the dry side? Did we not bless the bread that came forth from the heavens? Did your voice not reach my ears and direct my wanderings? The waters, the lightning, the thunder remind me of yesterday's triumphs. Let the past offer proof of tomorrow. Let it be my comforter and guarantor. I have been here before, known the fright, and found your companionship. I enter the sanctuary again to await the echo of your promise. Page 567.
יש כוכבים שאורם מגיע ארצה, רק כשהם עצמם עבדו ונם. יש אנשים שזיו זכרם מאיר, כאשר הם עצמם אינם עוד בתוכנו. אורות אלה המפיקים בחשכת הליל, הם שמראים לאדם את הדרך, את הדרך. הם שמראים לאדם את הדרך, את הדרך. There are stars up above, so far away we only see their light, long, long after the star itself is gone. And so it is with people that we loved. Their memories keep shining ever brightly through their time. With us is done. But the stars that light up the darkest night, these are the lights that guide us as we live our days. These are the ways we remember. We remember as we live our days. These are the ways we remember. We remember. We remember. We remember.
We are now going to take some time in silence for our own reflection and our own memories. On pages 570 to 575, there are meditations for men and boys, women and girls, but also reflections for remembering those who died due to violence, for remembering a hurtful parent, for the loss of a child. And so please use any of these words that might be helpful to you, or of course, the words that are in your own heart. Page 580, The 5 Stages of Grief. The night I lost you, someone pointed me towards the 5 stages of grief. Go that way, they said. It's easy, like learning to climb stairs after the amputation. And so I climbed. Denial was first. I sat down at breakfast, carefully setting the table for 2. I passed you the toast. You sat there. I passed you the paper. You hid behind it. Anger seemed more familiar. I burned the toast, snatched the paper, and read the headlines myself. But they mentioned your departure, so I moved on to bargaining. What could I exchange for you? The silence after storms, my typing fingers. Before I could decide, depression came puffing up. A poor relation, its suitcase tied together with string. In the suitcase were bandages for the eyes and bottles of sleep. I slid all the way down the stairs, feeling nothing. And all the time, hope flashed on and off in defective neon. Hope was a signpost pointing straight in the air. Hope was my uncle's middle name. He died of it. After a year, I am still climbing, though my feet slip on your stone face. The tree line has long since disappeared. Green is a color I have forgotten. But now I see what I am climbing towards: acceptance. Written in capital letters, a special headline: acceptance. Its name is in lights. I struggle on, waving and shouting. Below, my whole life spreads its surf, all the landscapes I've ever known or dreamed of. Below, a fish jumps, the pulse in your neck. Acceptance. I finally reach it, but something is wrong. Grief is a circular staircase. I have lost you. Page 584. Let's read together at the top of the page. God of pity and love, return to this earth. Go not so far away, leaving us to grief. Return, Eternal One, return. Come back with the day. Come with the light that we may see once more across this earth's unsettled floor, the kindly path, the old and living way. Let us not give way to evil in the night. Let there be God again. Let there be light. Page 593.
Adonai ro'i lo echsa bin od deshe yarbitzeni al mei menuchot נפשי ישובב ישובב ינחני במעגלי צדק ינחני במעגלי צדק למען שמו גם כי אלך בגיא צל מוות לא אירא רע כי אתה עמדי שבטך ומשענתך עמי ינחמוני תערוך לפניי שולחן נגד צורריי תשענת בשמן ראשי כוסי טוב וחסד ירדפוני כל ימי חיי, כל ימי חיי, ושבתי בבית אדוני לאורך ימים. אדוני רואי לא אחסר, אדוני רואי לא
Page 597 at the bottom of the page. Our loved ones live in our broken hearts, and at times that brings some measure of healing. Their acts of kindness and generosity are the inheritance they leave behind. We feel their absence, and the beauty of their lives abides among us. As it is said, the name of one who has died shall not disappear. Our loved ones' names and their memories will endure among us. These are the names of those who have died in the past year on our lips and in our hearts. Kyle McGee Sr., Ida Houston, Louisa Espute, Irv Tabikman, Perry De La Touche, Ira Roth, Roberta Hayrath, George Liss, the Reverend Claude Park Street, Sylvia Tishkovich, Ellen Belofsky, Cindy Retagliata, Dolores Weinberger, Suzanne Leknos, Shirley Kafker, Lillian Ridley, Thomas Marinin, Meg Goldate, Marguerite Romeo, John Young, Isadora Frost, Fred Perlman, Bob Ira Kleinberg, Dorothea Schuring, Peter Brandenberger, Lloyd Ricketts, Ellie Heimlich, Sherry Burns, Terry Singer, Henry Kuhn, Lily Zimmett, Bob Perlman, Ira Berkowitz, Bayumi Mohammed, Amy Zisovic, Mary Holland, Dorothy Webster, Robert Allen Santos Sr., Robert Bonenfant, Barry Strumpf, Judy Epstein, Dorothy Mason, Judy Panzer, Barry Ween, Charlotte Brown, David Schachter, Douglas Maines, Devora Lewis, Tria Sapir, Jane Evans, Rabbi Lord Jonathan Sachs, Manny Pastor, Ruth Rubin, Harris Reese, Emerson Berger, Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg, Caroline McNamara, Marion McGivney, Ronnie Turek, Jay Roseman. We have many of the names of many of your loved ones in our Golden Book of Memory for this year as well. And I see that some of you are adding names as well in the chat, and they are also included, as well as all of the other names that are in your hearts or that you might choose to say aloud in your homes. I invite you now to turn to page 598 and rise, if you're able, for Amalei Rachamim. Let's read together in English. Merciful God, God Most High, let there be perfect rest for the souls of our loved ones who have gone into eternity. May they find shelter in your presence among the holy and pure, whose light shines like the radiance of heaven. Compassionate God, hold them close to you forever. May their souls be bound up in the bond of life eternal. May they find a home in you, and may they rest in peace. Together we say, Amen.
שוכן במרומים, המציא מנוחה נכונה, תחת כנפי השכינה, עם קדושים וטהורים, כזוהר הרקיע מזהירים. לנשמות יקירינו שהלכו לעולמם, בעל הרחמים, הרחמים, יסתירם בסתר כנפיו
turn to page 606 for the Mourner's Kaddish, we include all of those names that we have mentioned and that you are holding in your hearts, as well as all of those who have died from COVID-19 or other causes, whether in war or famine or terror or disaster, or alone and homeless on the streets of our cities. Page 606. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shemei rabbah, be'alma divrach yirutei v'yamlich malchutei, b'chayechon uv'yomechon uv'chaye dechol beit Yisrael, ba'agala uv'izman kariv v'yamru amen. Yehei shmei rabbah mevorach leolam ulalmei almaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh. V'yit hadar, v'yit aleh, v'yit halal, shemei dekudesha barichu. Le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechemata, damiran be'alma v'yimru, amen. Yehei shlama rabba min shemaya, v'chayim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'yimru, amen. Oseh shalom bimromav, hu ya'aseh shalom. Aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael ve'al kol yoshvei tevel v'imru. Amen. May the source of peace send peace to all who mourn and comfort to the bereaved wherever they may be, and let us say Amen.
Set me as a seal upon your heart, as a seal upon your arm, for love is strong as death. Set me as a seal upon your heart, as a seal upon your arm, for love is strong as death. Many waters cannot quench love, neither can the floods drown it, neither can the floods drown it. Set me as a seal upon your heart, as a seal upon your arm, for love is strong as
May the memories of our loved ones be a blessing to us as we recognize the blessings that they brought into our lives. We will repeat this service. It will be the same service today at 3:30 in person outside the synagogue. The weather is a little bit threatening. You may wish to bring an umbrella if you choose to come, just in case, but unless it really starts pouring, we are going to go ahead and have that service outdoors at 3:30. It is also not an optimal way to do Yizkor outside the synagogue where traffic goes by and people go by, but for anyone who feels that it's important enough for you to be with others for Yizkor that's worth it to you, please come and do bring your masks because we will require them. At this time, I would like to ask our president to say a few words. Adrienne Knoll.
Good afternoon. 5 years ago, when my mother died, I spent about a week in her apartment just sorting through her things and deciding what to keep. I ended up tossing a few items, like she had a bag of Clinique samples that must have been 20 years old, but I found it impossible to part with anything. So I boxed it all up, threw it in my car and took it home. And the plan was to deal with it later. Well, as you might have figured, later never came. And the truth is, I didn't want it to come. I started to feel a tremendous comfort in being surrounded by my mother's Sinatra CDs, her world's greatest grandma coffee mug that I use, about 50 boxes of drinking straws that she must have gotten on sale at Target, which I'm still using, by the way. Her handbag is sitting in my closet with her grocery list still inside. I feel my mom's presence in every room in my house, and I wouldn't have it any other way. Today, we're all feeling the strong presence of those people in our lives who loved us, created us, nurtured us, inspired us, challenged us, and sometimes drove us a little nuts. In honoring our loved ones, we're of course honoring the people they were. But in seeking to do acts of kindness and charity in their memory, we're also honoring the connection we had with them, the values they instilled in us, and the hopes they invested in us. It's incredible that even when they're gone, our loved ones continue to enrich us and guide us towards self-improvement. We're grateful for the lives they lived and for the way they showed us how to live by their example. I know that these have been challenging times for many of us, but I'm still asking you to consider giving to B'Sher. In order for us to persevere in these hard times, we need your help. Membership dues only cover a small portion of our operating expenses. Our High Holidays Appeal ensures that we are able to deliver our programming, meet the needs of our members, and serve as the center of Jewish life in the community in person and virtually. You can give to B'Sher because you're moved by our services. You can give because you feel a sense of community here. You can give because you've enjoyed Biyachad or Torah study, or poetry discussions, or any of our special events like our open mic day or our cook-along programs. You can give because your kids attend our religious school and you want them to understand what it means to belong to a community that needs our participation to thrive from generation to generation, from strength to strength. Or you can give because you know how much we need it. You can give because this would be one of the few charitable contributions that you could ever make where you know exactly where your money is going. You can see it, you can feel it in your heart, and you can get immediate gratification. So now is the time. We're proud to be the only home of Reform Judaism south of Prospect Park. Your support ensures that we will be here for this generation and future generations. Please contribute generously if you're able, and allow us to continue to do all that we do for you and this community. To make your pledge, go online to b'sher.org/appeal. You can make your pledge by email or phone, or simply donate with your credit card via our online form. We'll also be sending out paper pledge cards for those who prefer to donate that way. If you have questions, call the temple office and they'll be happy to answer them. Thank you, and Gemar Chatima Tova. May you be inscribed for a good year. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Adrienne. So as I said, 2 p.m. is the family service here outdoors. It will not be on Zoom. It will only be outdoors here. Then 3:30 p.m., a repetition of our Yizkor service here outdoors. Please wear masks. And for now, we're going to keep the Zoom room open, and we're going to zoom in on the ark, which I'm going to open, and we'll leave the ark open and on screen spotlighted for anyone who would like to spend time meditating, being able to see the Torah scrolls. Then, like I'm just remembering, so 5 o'clock then. So wait, 3:30 is in-person Yizkor. 5 o'clock, we'll be back here on Zoom, same link again, for our study session, which is going to focus on end of life and ethical wills. It's optional. I guess everything is optional. And then at 6 o'clock, we will have our concluding service here on Zoom, Ne'ilah. So we look forward to seeing you then. Ne'ilah is a wonderful, wonderful service that I find very emotional. The image that we're like getting in our last bits of repentance before the gates of the day close, and we get to go and break our fast if we're fasting. So that's everything that's going on. See you later.